Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Marisa's Kitchen. Now tonight I'm going to show you a very easy recipe for a lemon poppy seed cake. Now I've been doing this recipe for the last 30 years or so. I first tried it when I was in grade 9, and what I did was I took it out of the oven, I put the lemon icing on right away when it was hot, and my mother got all upset and said, "Oh, you silly, you're not supposed to ice the cake when it's hot," and she absolutely tore a strip off me. But then when we had dessert that night, my mother tried the cake and said, "This is actually very good. The icing soaks into the cake." And she said, "I'm very sorry about how I behaved earlier tonight, so from now on you can do the cake like that." So I decided that I would do it that way and I have absolutely no regrets. So the purpose of this video is to show you that this cake is the exception to the rule, because as my mom said, you're not normally supposed to ice cakes when they're hot. So how about if you sit back and look at this unusual recipe right now. Okay, so the first thing you do is you take some buttermilk. You need a cup of buttermilk. Then this is 1/3 cup of poppy seeds. Put them in. Just stir them up a bit. And let them soak for a bit. Now the next thing you must do is get the eggs in. Now what you do is you have to beat up the egg whites until they're relatively white. So what you do in the process, you put the egg yolks in here. So here goes. One. Two. Three. Can be a little messy. Four. Might as well get these guys out of the way. Now, we blend these bad boys. Okay, now, this is actually not very loud, which is a good thing, because right now it is approximately 10 o'clock at night, and I don't want to be waking up the neighbors. So the next thing you do is you go over here, and you put 2½ cups of flour into this little bowl. We will put this guy away because he's a hazard. Now, next thing you must do is put a teaspoon of baking soda in here. And then a teaspoon of baking powder. And last but not least, a ½ teaspoon of salt. Now, in the olden days, they always insisted that you sift it. But you know what? I just mix it up with a Cuisinart. You don't need to do that. Give me 1 second. I'll mix this all in. Okay, now, if you look over here, looks like these guys are all beaten up and fluffy now. First thing we do, get these guys out. These guys out of here. Maybe I'll give this a quick wash. It's just the egg white. Don't really need it to use it, so there's going to be egg in there anyway. Now, here's where the fun really starts. Sometimes that's hard to get on. I'm very thankful it went on easily. Now, we need 2 squares of margarine or 1 cup. So, these are at room temperature, so it shouldn't be a big deal beating these guys up. And then, put the eggs in. Get all in there. And then at the same time, you put in some almond extract and some vanilla extract, 1 teaspoon of each. So if you have nut allergies, this is not the cake for you because of the almond extract. Now, we're going to need some sugar and icing sugar. We need 1 cup of this guy, the icing sugar. And we will get some sugar here. We only need 3/4 cups of this. That was a half, this is 1/4. Okay, now we blend this guy. If the margarine is still in lumps, take a knife, a clean one that is, and chop it a bit. That appears to be very good. So now, what we do now is we'll go over here and take some of this flour, put some of this in, blend it up, then put this in, which of course has now had enough time to soak, and blend her up. Make sure you get all the poppy seed blended in, of course. Starting to show. Okay, now we put the rest of the flour mixture in there. Now, I'm going to take a spatula and get every little bit in there so it is homogeneous. Looking good. Now the last part, put the egg yolk, or the egg white, should I say, in there. The yolk's already in there, but here we go. Never a poor idea to clean up while you bake. Okay, just give me a second, get every little bit in there. Bit of egg white was still there. Quick 20 seconds and then we're ready to put it in the oven. I like it already. Now, we're going to take this guy over here, and if you have a look, this is the pan that I use, a bundt pan. It's greased, and I usually put a bit of flour on there so that reduces the risk of it sticking. Careful of the blade. I've cut my finger before. Not pleasant. Get every bit in there. Why waste anything? Okay, just 1 second. I probably should scrape a bit of that in there, so give me 1 second. I will clean the spatula and get it right. Now, if you leave that on the side, it becomes a nightmare to scrape off later, so we don't want a nightmare to occur. Okay, that's it, folks. So what you do now is you put it in, and the oven has been preheated to 350. So now you want to put it on for timer about 45 to 50 minutes. I usually put it on about 50. That usually works every time. That's a little much. I don't think so. Okay, now, while that's doing its thing, we cannot forget the lemon icing. Now, this is very easy. Watch this. I have this bowl right here and some lemon juice. Shake this guy. Shake it up. Now put some in here. that amount there. And then, maybe get a spoon of some kind here. Get some icing sugar in here. Now, if you want to add some desiccated coconut, that's fine. You can do that as well. I mean, you can always enhance what you see. But I find this is very simple like this. Just put the icing sugar in like this. And then all I do is just mix it up. I'm making a mess in my kitchen, but it's my kitchen, don't worry. Okay. The thickness is your choice, of course, and how much icing you put on is also your choice. Just make sure you cover the top, because that's what really counts. That's thick. That's a lot. Maybe I'll put some more in. Need a little more. Again, it's a judgment call. Okay, I think that should be enough. Okay, now, so of course, we now have approximately another 45 more minutes for the cake to come out of the oven. And I'm not about to keep you that long, but stay tuned, because in approximately 45 minutes, I'm going to ice the cake. So we will see you in 45 minutes. Oh, hi there! Wow! That is the fastest 45 minutes I've ever seen! Am I getting old, or does time fly? Well, hey, seeing as 45 minutes are up, we better get this guy out of the oven. So, just 1 second. Don't ever forget to turn off the oven. So, let's get him out of here. We should double check first. Looks good to me. Okay, now, what we need to do here is get this guy out. Slides out nicely. That was easy. Put this guy away. And flip it. Now, doesn't he look good? Okay, so now, as I said and promised earlier, I'm going to ice it when it's hot. Now, one thing you should do is chop a little off the top so that way it's more exposed and it can actually seep in. So we're going to do just that now. Just chop a little off the top. Okay, now here goes the icing, or here comes the icing. Now put them on. It's getting a little stingy. Spread it over, spread it all over. Get it mostly on the top so that way it really seeps in. Sometimes a bit falls on the bottom there. It's got too much here on the bottom. I'll put it on the top and just cover it as much as you wish. You can put more on if you like, but this should be good for now. Just put all the way around that cake. I'll use some real fresh icing for that last little bit there. Maybe if I can get every little bit out here, put this right on the top. Okay folks, that is the finished product. Now, we could slice a piece right now and try a piece, but we won't do that. So that concludes the lemon poppy seed recipe, which I think is very easy. So why don't you give it a try? You won't be disappointed. But before I say goodbye, if you want the recipe, here it is. Now take a second or however long you need to study this, get the freeze frame, or write it down, whichever works better. Okay, so that is Maurice's very easy lemon poppy seed recipe. So give it a try, you will not be disappointed, and remember, ice it when it's hot.